Hello, patrons. Thank you for supporting me. My dog is just now asking to get up on my lap. So let's do that first. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There we go. This is Radar in case you didn't remember. Okay. So this month, 2020, Happy New Year. I am feeling emotionally better. Things are loose strings are wrapping up, and I'm getting some closure around some things that were sort of hanging over me. I am done doing massage, so that is completely done, and I've cleaned out my massage office, and that feels like a nice bow has been tied around it. I guess once I do the taxes for 2019, then I'll feel like, okay, I'm done. But yeah, that's some nice closure. And my son moved in. I got him all enrolled for college at the community college here in Eugene. And, there's still some leftover office-y, admin-y things that need to take place, financial aid and that sort of stuff. But the majority of the things that were kind of hanging over me and stressing me out are done. And my oldest, Clover, is moving to Massachusetts on Tuesday. I'm going to drive them to the airport. So that will be a giant closure right there too. So those are some big things that are not on my plate anymore, and that feels really good. And over the New Year's holiday, some friends of mine and I rented a house on the Oregon coast. And while I was there, I did my yearly review. And one of the great things about the Passion Planner, which is the planner that I love and use, is it has monthly reflections. And so every month, at the end of the month, I will reflect on the month and see what worked and what didn't work, and make notes to myself, rate myself 1 to 10 on how I thought I did. And, did I prioritize my time well? That sort of thing. The most memorable things, the lessons I learned. And then at the end of the year, there is a yearly review. And so in order to do the yearly review, I would go back through all of the monthly reviews, all 11 or 12 of them, and see how I did. Now, I've been battling some overwhelm and stress this year, as you know. And I thought that it was kind of a carryover from summer, and that I never fully recovered from all of the traveling I did and that sort of stuff. So that was what I expected to find in my monthly reviews. And when I went through the reflections pages, I discovered that, I discovered that actually every single month, with the exception of one, I talked about stress or overwhelm or not feeling focused or worry or anxiety or, something in that umbrella term of overwhelm. And that surprised me. So my 2020 intention is to find ways to manage my stress, because that is just totally not productive or efficient or effective or any fun or healthy, to be stressed out all year long. That was kind of lame. So I know this might sound simplified, I guess, but I think that part of the reason for myself, the reason why I haven't been able to manage and control my stress as much this year as previous years, is because I haven't been doing yoga. And I know that, again, might seem like a simplification, but that was more of an epiphany for me. Like, oh, okay then. So I went to a yoga class on Sunday and it was amazing. And I've been going to the gym, and I started a new class this morning. I tried a new class this morning, which actually really, I think I overdid it, totally kicked my ass. And I feel like I pulled a muscle, and I think it triggered one of those visual migraines too for like an hour or two, which I'm not suffering from right now. And anyway, that was kind of unusual, but I totally love the class and I'm going to keep going. I just need to pace myself since it's the first time I've done it. So that's my intention. I would love to hear from you in the comments of this video what your 2020 intention is, or if you have any goals that you've set. One of the other things I discovered, well, I'm going to call this an experiment because I'm constantly experimenting with schedules and processes and, that sort of thing. And I have discovered, well, I haven't discovered yet. I have a hypothesis. And so my experiment is going to be taking quarter one, the first quarter of this year, and not setting deadlines for myself, which is anxiety provoking because I have a goal driven personality, and that doesn't mean I can't set goals. I have a lot of goals for this first quarter. And knowing me and my track record, I've totally overdone it and I won't even get half of what I want to get done. But my experiment again is to not set any deadlines for that. Like, what, I'm trying to think of an example. So, I want to get done with I have 3 nonfiction book manuscripts started or almost finished. And I want to rapid release them into KDP Select. And they're 4 authors. One is going to be the goal setting and strategic planning for writers. One is how to write a novel. One is on the nitty gritty of self-publishing. So those aren't the titles per se, but those are what the books are about. And I want to, by the end of the quarter, which is the last day of March, to be completely done with the drafts for those. I'm not going to say that they will have been sent to the editor, but at least, more than a rough draft, because I've already been in rough draft stage all this year. I keep adding more things to it, so I'm sort of revising them as I go, which isn't normally the way I write, but I'm not doing a lot of normal things with this series. So all of it is a big experiment, really. So that's what I want. I want to have all of those drafts done by the end of the quarter. And in order to do that, I've strategically planned, all of the steps and when about they should be done. And so I have set, I guess I have set deadlines for myself, but not really deadlines. They're just more like markers. Like, gee, if I do have a goal to be, how do I say this? If my goal is to have the manuscripts drafted by the end of the quarter, then I wonder if I'm talking myself into a corner here. I don't want to set deadlines for myself. I'm going to try not to. I do have goals, and those goals are broken down into little steps, but I'm not going to put dates on those steps. So it'll be more just a working task list, a checklist. And I will, when I have work time slated and set aside on my calendar, I will sit down and work on the first thing on the checklist. And when I get done with that, I'll go to the next thing on the checklist. So I'm hoping, my hypothesis is that will allow me to be focused and efficient with my time. I'll know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, but I won't have the stress, strain, and overwhelm from not being good enough, not getting done fast enough. That's my hypothesis and hope. So that's kind of what my year is starting out with. I would love to hear more about what your month, quarter, year in 2020 is going to look like. what else am I going to tell you? Oh, so part of the reason I know that probably those drafts won't be done by the end of the quarter is because at the end of the quarter, the last 2 weeks of the quarter, I'll be in Turkey. I've never been to Turkey, but my husband is Turkish and he hasn't been back for 12 years, I think. And he hasn't seen his mom for maybe 30 years. So it's time to go visit. And I get to go, and I'm really excited about that. And I would love to see his mom again. What else did I have on my notes to talk about today? Oh, so I wrote a novel. I'm sure you know that. It's called The Scent of Apple Tea. And I was invited by a book club who chose that book and read it for their book club read to come and meet with them tonight at their book club meeting. So that's a first for me. I'm really excited about that. One of the things I'm going to ask them is I've been considering, so since I went to 20 Books to 50K conference in Vegas in November, I've been making lots of business decisions, and one of them actually is to pull all of my books out of Wide and put them into KDP Select. And I have reasons for that. And I have, a little mini mind war going on about that. But if you want to know the reasons, I'd be happy to chat with you about them. And perhaps I'll put that on the podcast too. In fact, I know I will. But I'm going to ask, one of the things that came up in the conference was the idea to write an epilogue. I mean, the book already has an epilogue, but I can write like a second epilogue and carry, so it'll be like a short story almost, about one of the characters and kind of the aftermath of the book. And I think it's going to be about Kyle, but I'm going to ask the people that just read the book who they want to know about, so I can find from readers directly what they want that epilogue to be about. And what I want to do then is give that away for free at the end of the book. So they finish reading the book and there is, hey, if you want to hear about Kyle, after he goes back to the States, click here and it'll take them to a sign up page on my website that will get me their email address and them the short story or the epilogue. And that's exciting. I have to write it first, but it's all part of the mass movement from Wide into KDP Select. And I imagine that'll take all of this year to go through all of the pieces involved in doing that. So I've been talking for 13 minutes, so I'm going to close this up and post it up on Patreon for you. And I hope that your year has started swimmingly and that you're excited about all the possibilities and that the future looks grand for you. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you just want to chat, please email me, Valerie@ValerieIhsan.com, IHSAN. And happy writing, happy publishing, happy indie author life. Talk to you next month.